we're not starting yet. We just thought we'd get up and running and see who's following, and we'll wait a while for our biscuit making workshop today. Going to be baking along with me, and Max is going to be looking out for all your questions. So just bear with us while we set up, because he's got the laptop. So I'm going to pass over to Mr. Boozy Bakers, who is going to be cameraman for us. Hi Gemma. So just bear with us because this is learning. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the butter. So we're using 100% butter in ours. If you are using margarine, that's not a problem at all. You are looking for 225 grams of butter. If it's hard, because like if you're anything like me, you forgot to take it out of the fridge, put it in the microwave for just 15 seconds, or thereabouts, just to soften it up a bit, because we're going to be beating it by hand, unless you happen to have a whizzy hand mixer, but I don't, I'm doing it by hand. So get your butter going. I've put it into chunks just to make it a bit easier. I'm going to put mine in the microwave now, so bear with me. Erin's going to keep you entertained. And you can hear my microwave going.
We've got Fiona Wright, hello from Cleethorpes, and a Len Janet Gilbert, hi from Leicester.
Oh, hello! I'm a Leicestershire girl originally. Right, what I haven't told you about these biscuits is not only are they delicious, but they're actually really quite economical, because we're going to show you how to make them and store them, so you only use what you want to eat. So if you want to eat masses of them, it's not a problem, but this doesn't require any rolling or any cutters, so you don't have too much equipment for these. They taste amazing. You can do variations of them, so we'll just explain as we go along. Right, Erin, you ready to get mixing?
Okay.
Okay. Right, so we've got all our butter, and I don't know why I'm switching bowls, because we could have just used that. Do you want to just beat that in for me, Erin? It's quite a tough job to do this bit, so it might take a while. It's looking good. You'll find if you've got margarine, it is going to be softer. That's not a problem. Just bear with us with the butter, because it's just that bit harder. Yes, Max?
We have Susanna here who did their wedding cake.
Susanna Estevez.
Hello, yes I did. I remember that. We went and delivered it. Erin, do you remember? With all the fruit on top? Yes.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Right. Want to help? There we go. So it's quite tough, but we're going to break this down soon. We're going to add some other ingredients. What we're going to do now is we're going to measure out 225 grams of sugar. So we're using caster sugar, but if the only thing you have is granulated, that's flour. I know. That's fine. How are we doing? Yes, Max. What question do we have?
Debbie asks, how are you doing, and if you can say hi to her mum, who is doing this while self-isolating at home.
Of course we can. Hello to Debbie's mum. I'm glad you're able to join us, and I hope you're enjoying it. You can tip that in. I've heard, is that Debbie Stimpson?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've heard all about your family bake-off, and I'm really impressed. Really, really impressed. I think we're going to have to do it as well. You need to mix it now until your sugar has disappeared. So well done, Erin. So you're going to keep mixing the butter and the sugar together, and you want to do it, well done Erin, until you can't see the sugar. Now you're going to get musselled, aren't you? So we creamed the butter first, and then we've added the sugar, so that's how your mix should look now. Right, are we all ready for the next step? If you have young children, I would say let them have a go at this. It's So this is how I do this. So you've got your egg, just one egg that you need next. Now, if like us you're using a plastic bowl, don't try and crack an egg on a plastic bowl. It's not going to work. Erin, I've got a spoon. I'll use a spoon. So I'm going to let Erin do this in a minute. But if you take your spoon and keep it and the egg in one hand, keep it over the bowl. What I do is I crack the egg on the spoon, so anything that is messy goes straight in anyway. And then I prise it open with my thumbs.
Don't try and get eggs shell.
So a bit of pressure on you. You're going to get no eggshell in the mix, yeah?
Yeah, no eggs.
Right, Erin's going to do it for us. So over the bowl.
Yucky.
So we can solve it if shell goes in. We can solve it. So you're going to have to go a bit harder than that. Well done. So I'll take that away. And thumbs. Well done. You've done that really well. Excellent.
If you get eggshell in, try and actually get out.
Yeah, that's right. If you get shell in, then you can take it out with another piece of shell. And then once you've cracked that in, and you've rescued any shell bits that might have got in, just give it a really good stir up. Have you got any questions, Max, or is everyone doing all right?
Everyone's doing alright.
Excellent. I don't know if you can hear Max or not. I'm hoping you can hear me all right. I tried to be a bit louder.
Got one person saying that the baker's voice is very faint, so...
Okay, I'll try to do my best. It's the distance between the phone and me, so hopefully you can hear me. Well done, Erin. A bit gooier now, a bit easier to mix. Well done.
Okay.
Yes, Max.
Is there a knack to being a baker? Because I struggle with everything.
I think the knack is to enjoy experimenting. Right, so we're going to add 330 grams of flour. Now, we've used plain, but you can use self-raising. We've tried it with a few different. If you've got something different, just put the flour in and let's see how it goes. So 330, that's weighed out for you already. So you don't have to sieve this. We've tried to make this as easy as possible. Again, we're not trying to put loads of air into it, so just chuck it in. Now, also at this stage, you can either leave it like this and you will have a delicious cookie, or you can add other flavourings. So we did suggest on our post that you could use chocolate chips or raisins. Raisins, Erin? You sure? We could swap this for raisins if you'd like, no? The other thing you could do is maybe use some lemon zest if you wanted to have a different flavour. Don't worry, we're a bit messy. So, do you want some chocolate chips in yours, Erin? Yeah? So this is basically, use as many as you would like in your, stop it, as much as you would like in your biscuits. This is 100 grams, so we're going to use half a pack, Erin, about 50 grams, yeah? Yeah. Okay, you're going to use your hands or you're going to tip it straight in? Okay. So if you mix it with the flour, then they'll separate a bit more. Is that enough, Erin? I think that's enough, Erin. I think that's enough, Erin. Right. That's fine. No, you've had lots of Easter egg. You can do without chocolate for a minute.
If you haven't got chocolate chips, you can cut chocolate up as well and use that.
Absolutely. You could put bits of Easter egg in, you could get a bar of chocolate and just give it a bit of a cut up. I didn't have any chocolate chips the other day, so I just cut up just a regular bar of chocolate. Is anyone else putting things in theirs, or are we keeping it as just the basic cookie recipe? I'd love to hear if you've got something different you're doing.
You could even do fruit.
You could put some cherry pieces in, couldn't you?
But this is my favourite.
Yes, Max.
We have somebody asking about cocoa powder, chocolate all go because of lockdown. What about cocoa powder? chocolate or
Yeah, if you want to put some cocoa powder in, you can. You'll need to take some of the flour out though to do that. Or you might, if you've already put the flour in, add a bit of cocoa, and then you might need just a little bit of milk to make the dough the right consistency. You've got another question?
Gemma asks, could I use frozen berries?
Yeah? They'll melt quickly. It might be an idea to break the pieces up, particularly with raspberries, just crush them a bit into it, but yes.
And Joe Peace said, I'm putting in crushed mini eggs.
Oh, I like that. That sounds good. Really like the sound of that.
Yeah.
We've got Gemma's using fudge pieces and Mark's using raisins.
I've used fudge pieces actually, and that does work. It's really yummy.
I like fudge.
And raisins, I like raisins. You just don't like raisins, do you?
No.
Mm.
Oh, actually, I do like raisins.
Oh, now
but
you
on
say
its
it. Now
own.
you've got the chocolate in it.
Only on its own. I don't like it in biscuits or.
I mean, I suppose you could use bits of crushed nuts as well.
Josie's asked, why does her dough look like cake mix? It's not doughy at all.
Have you used margarine? If you've used margarine, you might find that it's a softer mix. And that's not a problem. I will talk you through that when we come to the next bit.
And yes, Josie is using marge.
Yeah, so if you're using marge, if it doesn't look like that, it's because margarine is just a softer spread. Don't worry, it'll still work. We did this the other day, and I will go through the differences as to what we do next, depending on whether you've used margarine or butter, but it's not a problem at all.
Rob asks, can we put small marshmallows in?
Yes,
Oh,
do it!
yummy.
Of course, we have to taste test all of these just to make sure they worked. Let's put that there for a minute. I'm going to use just a tiny bit of flour just on the worktop, but we're not rolling this out. I just want to show you. You should be able to get your hand in now and push that together. Now, if you're margarine, you may not be able to do this part, so hang on and I will explain what we're going to do for you guys. So, if you've used butter, you should have a ball like that. If you haven't used butter, leave it in the bowl for a minute and I will tell you what we're going to do next. Max, could you pass me the cling film, please?
Yep.
Right, if you've used butter and you have a dough, what you can do is roll this out, and I'll show you why actually. Max, could you pass me here's one I made earlier, roll. Thank you. What we're going to do is we're going to roll it out and we're going to cover it with cling film, and the reason why is because we're going to leave it to set in the fridge, and if you roll it out you're able to cut it as you want it. So I will demonstrate. Can I demonstrate?
Can I show them something? The chocolate chips are actually all spread out now.
They are. Should we unwrap
They're
it?
very yummy.
Max, we have the knife as well, and I can
We've
show.
made cookies.
If you've used margarine, don't worry, I haven't forgotten you. I'm going to come back to you with this. So this one's been chilled, which is why it's pretty solid. And the idea is that you can cut about a finger's width. Don't chop your finger off with it. You can cut it like that and put it on a baking tray, and that will make one nice cookie. And then the rest of it you can put in the back in the cling film, or obviously cut 6 off or something. But you can put that back in cling film and put it back in the fridge, and you can leave it in the fridge for like a week. So if you've got kids like me, or you just can't resist biscuits, it just stops you eating them all at once. So what you're going to make, we'll start rolling it out now. But you'll make about 14, maybe even a few more biscuits with this. So you can and it doesn't take long to cook them. So it's quite good for keeping going in the week as a snack, and you're not too tempted to keep going and eating them all. So, do you see that about right, Erin?
Yeah.
Should we get some new cling film, or do you think we can reuse this?
Use this.
Okay.
It's very
We've got some questions.
Gemma Hines saying they're using apple, raisin and cinnamon in theirs.
Oh, lovely.
Sounds nice. And your mum's asked, do you need to grease the baking tray?
Well, I would say, ideally, put it on a bit of baking paper. If you don't have that and your trays aren't non-stick, then yeah, just grease them. But this has got butter in it, so it's going to release some grease naturally. So I've never done more than just put it on a bit of parchment paper. Okay, we don't need to knot it, that's fine. So that's how it will look if you've got dough. If you've used margarine and you've got a softer mix, what I would do is stretch your cling film out so it's lying in front of you, and then tip your mixture onto the cling film and roll it roughly. Then you might find what we're going to do is we're going to chill it, and I think it's still an idea with the margarine that we chill it. But what you might find with the margarine, if it doesn't chill to the point that you can cut it, get a spoon, just a dessert spoon, and scoop some out and put it as a ball and just press it down a little bit. With 2 fingers, just press it down a little bit and they will spread out naturally in the oven. So you don't need to have them the same kind of flatness as this. You'd have it more, let me just take a bit off so I can show you what I would do. I would do that. For margarine when it's been chilled, and then I would just press it down a little bit.
Remember, at the end of when you're baking all of this, remember to wash your hands.
We do need to wash our hands again, don't we, when we're all done?
Sheila's saying this is fun.
I'm glad! We're enjoying ourselves, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we
So,
get in?
Max, could you pass me the tray, please?
Yep.
Okay. So here you go. So we're going to put that one on. Do you want to do some more?
Yeah.
Okay. We really should be using a chopping board rather than my work surface, but for the purpose of video, so we're going to go there. Push.
You can make marks on this.
Well, we don't want to.
So please use a cutting board.
Yeah, use a cutting board. Don't be like us. We just didn't get one out in time.
So
There
it
we
might
go.
damage your table, like.
It's not damaging. We're fine. We're being very light. So if you can see what we're using, we've got a silicone sheet. I use these because we bake a lot and it's recyclable. You can use it over and over again. So if you haven't got them, they actually are a really good investment and useless. How many people have got it into cling film? That's the stage you're at.
They're asking how long they have to chill in the fridge
Yeah,
for.
so I was going to say, when you've got to this stage, pop it in the fridge, and I would leave it for an hour. You should be able to pick it up, and rather than it do that, it should stay to its shape. Go with us. No, we're not. We're going to put this in. Right. Close that up. Right,
Yep,
we're back.
Asked what you do after you wrap the dough, so that's putting it into the fridge.
So once you've wrapped the dough, put it in the fridge, leave it for an hour or so until it's just a bit firmer, so that you can pick it up and you can slice it. And you can see you get a really good slice on that. It doesn't squish at all. As I said, if you've got margarine and it's a bit softer, use a spoon, do a dollop, and just press it down on the baking tray, and you will be fine. They will taste lovely. How much is a dollop? That's a good question. So a dollop, I would say, is using a dessert spoon, filling it, and then just scooping it off and giving it a little press. We've got another question.
What's the black thing you placed your biscuits on in the tray?
This is a silicone baking mat. If you don't have this, to be honest, I could probably put it straight on my tray, or use parchment paper or baking paper. We just use these rather than baking paper because I can reuse them, so it just saves on buying paper and wasting a bit. Yes, Max?
Why do you chill biscuit dough?
So chill biscuit dough because the butter that we have melted a little bit maybe, or we had it at room temperature, and then we've stirred it and we've softened the mix. By putting it back into the fridge, or put it in the fridge rather, it makes it nice and firm because it makes that butter really hard again. So the margarine users, it will make it harder, but not as much as butter because they're just different contents. But it will still make your dough easier and firmer to use. And then when you put it in the oven, it doesn't give the mixture a chance to spread out as far because it's nice and chilled. These will keep their form more. And then here's what I made earlier. Max, could we have the plate, please? Thank you. There we go. So here's our biscuits, and you can see they've spread out a little bit. I'm afraid I did leave them in the oven for probably about a minute longer than I should have done, but they're still lovely. They're just a little bit more brown around the edges. So that's the kind of size that they will get to. And each of these, as I said, it's about a finger's width that I've cut them when you get to that stage.
Tracy Ann Simpson says she's loving the matching aprons.
Oh, we like a bit of matching, don't we? To eat it, don't you? She's going to eat. Are you going to tell everyone? Does it taste nice? No, not on your nose. Yes, Max.
How long in the oven?
Good question. So once you've got them on your tray, you need to put it in the oven for about 12 minutes. So keep an eye on them. You will smell them when they're ready, but a little bit golden brown.
Can the dough go in the freezer for half an hour instead?
So I've actually tried this. Yes, you can, but it's not as good as leaving it to thoroughly chill in the fridge, because I got a bit impatient and thought I'd freeze it too. But you can try it, yeah, it still will have an effect if you really want to eat them fast.
Could you sprinkle them with caster sugar?
Yes. Also, you could sprinkle them with caster sugar before putting them in, and when you're finished, when they come out the oven after you've baked them, they will be soft. You need to leave them on the baking tray for a few minutes to become hard. Leave them, and then if you have a rack, put them on the rack for a while, just 10 minutes, and they'll be ready to eat, and they'll be slightly warm, and they'll be lovely with a cup of tea or something like that.
Now a sprinkle of sugar.
Oh no, you can't have a sprinkle of sugar. As are done. Yes, Max.
If we were to bake without chilling, would you be able to place on the tray in a ball and flatten and spread as it bakes?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can bake them. They will just spread out. So I think if you're going to bake straight away, I probably would do it a bit higher and a bit smaller, and let them spread naturally. So yeah, definitely, if it's something that you want to do straight away, then have a go. It will just spread out a little bit more.
Tracy was impressed with the aprons, is asking where they're from.
Oh, so it's our own aprons, but we have been talking, because we've had more time to talk, about doing some merchandise. So maybe we could do Boozy Baker aprons for people to order on our shop.
How long does the dough last if you don't want to cook it at all?
So this one's been in the fridge for a week. And as you can see, and it's gone at least a week. I would imagine you could put it in for a couple of weeks and it'll be fine. We're going to leave it there. Good luck with your baking. Show us what you've got. We'd love to see the pictures of your finished bakes. Yeah, give us a like. And if there's anything you'd like to see from us, just message us. We're only at the end of the phone. So thank you guys. Max, you coming back on? Yeah? Thank you very much for helping with all the questions.
You're welcome.
Right, enjoy your afternoon. You say goodbye.
What if we get...
Erin.
Can I just say something though?
You always say something.
Please.
Say goodbye. Ask me later.
Bye.